Today, we're going to talk about what might just be the single most valuable skill in our economy right now, deep work. This whole idea comes from Cal Newport's incredible book, and we're going to break down why being able to focus, like really focus, without distraction has become so rare and so powerful.
So let me ask you this. You ever have one of those days, you know the one, your calendar was jammed, your inbox was a little cleaner, you were just busy from the moment you started. But then you get to the end of the day, you look back, and you can't point to one single thing that actually mattered that pushed your most important work forward. Sound familiar?
Well, if it does, you're definitely not alone. And here's the thing, it's not some personal failing. It's basically the world we live in now. It's designed for distraction. Think about it. Open plan offices, pings and notifications going off constantly. We are literally in a nonstop war for our own attention. But here's why this is so critical. Newport's big argument is that in this new economic reality, the ability to do deep, focused work isn't just a nice little productivity hack. Nope. It's the skill of the 21st century. It's what's going to separate the people who are just treading water from those who are really, truly succeeding. So this all leads to what Newport calls the deep work paradox. It's this weird contradiction, right? We all kind of know that focus is super valuable, but our workplaces, our habits, even our tools seem designed to destroy it. Let's dig into that. This quote here from economists Brynjolfsson and McAfee just hits the nail on the head. It perfectly sums up this massive shift that's happening all around us. Technology is just exploding. It's moving at this breakneck speed. But our skills, well, they aren't quite keeping up. They actually have a name for it, the Great Restructuring. Basically, it's this new era where technology has created this huge gap between what the economy needs from us and what most of us can actually do. And that, right there, is a major challenge for pretty much everyone. Okay, so if there's this big divide, who's actually winning? Who's on the right side of this gap? Newport lays out 3 specific groups who are absolutely crushing it in this new economy. First, you've got the high-skilled workers. These are the people who can really dance with complex machines and data. Think of your data scientists or AI specialists. Second, you have the superstars. These are the folks who are the absolute best at what they do, and technology now lets them serve a global audience. And third, well, it's the owners of capital, the people investing in all this new tech. And what's really interesting is that all 3 of these groups have 2 things in common, 2 core abilities. First, they can learn really hard things fast. And second, they can produce work at an elite level. We're talking top-tier quality delivered at high speed. If you want to thrive today, these 2 skills are basically your ticket. All right, so if these skills are so essential, why on earth do our workplaces sometimes feel like they're designed to prevent us from building them? Newport points his finger at a few key culprits in this modern war on our focus. First on the list, the open office. I mean, the idea was great, right? Let's foster collaboration. But let's be real. For anyone who's actually worked in one, you know they're basically temples of distraction. The constant chatter, the movement, it makes deep thought almost impossible. And then you've got this always-on instant messaging culture. It's trained us to think that every single question, every little ping needs a response right now. But all those tiny little interruptions, they absolutely shatter our focus and can derail a task for way longer than just the seconds it takes to reply. And finally, there's this really sneaky idea that being busy is the same as being productive. Because in a lot of knowledge work, real output is invisible and hard to measure. So what do? We default to what we can see, firing off emails, being in meetings, just looking busy. Newport calls this a trap because it rewards the very behavior that prevents deep, valuable work. So yeah, that's the problem we're all facing. But what's the answer? Well, for Newport, it all comes down to committing to something he calls deep work. He breaks work down into 2 simple categories, deep and shallow. Deep work, that's the good stuff. That's when you're completely focused, no distractions, on a really demanding task. It's the work that creates new value, the stuff that's hard to do. And shallow work? Well, that's everything else. The emails, the meetings, the logistical tasks that just don't use your brain to its full potential. Here's a really great and maybe slightly brutal rule of thumb from the book. Newport says shallow work is pretty much anything you could give to a smart college intern with just a little bit of training. Oof, that's a tough question to ask yourself, isn't it? Seriously, take a second and think about your own to-do list. How much of it falls into that smart intern bucket? For a lot of us, the answer is a serious wake-up call. Okay, so you're sold. More deep work, less shallow work. Got it. But how in the world do you actually pull that off in a world that seems built for distraction? Well, Newport doesn't just leave us hanging. He gives us a really practical toolkit. First, he says to take a craftsman approach to your tools. Don't just jump on every new shiny app because it offers some tiny benefit. Be ruthless. Only use tools that have a massive positive impact on your most important work. Second, you have to schedule your deep work. Put it on your calendar like it's the most important meeting of the day, because it is. And third, you have to actively drain the shallows. You could even try talking to your boss about having a shallow work budget to put a real limit on how much time you waste on that stuff. Now, this whole thing isn't just about getting more done at your 9 to 5. Not at all. The payoff for embracing deep work goes way beyond your job title. It's about building what Newport calls a deep life. This quote from Newport really gets to the core of it all. The sense of meaning, the satisfaction you get from mastering something difficult, from creating real value. That's the stuff that makes for a truly good life, not just a good career. So when we fight to take back our attention from all the noise and distraction, we're not just becoming more productive employees. We're becoming more present in our own lives, more intentional about where we put our energy. We're building a better life. And I want to leave you with this last thought, which is so powerful. In the end, your life is the sum of what you pay attention to. If your focus is always scattered, always given away to trivial things, well, that's the kind of life you'll build. But if you can learn to focus deeply on things that truly matter, what could you build then?